Okay, now we go to Sutta 70, Kitagiri Sutta. This is another important sutta. Thus have I heard, on one occasion the Blessed One was wandering in the Kasi country together with a large sangha of monks. There he addressed the monks thus, Monks, I abstain from eating at night. By so doing I am free from illness and affliction, and I enjoy health, strength, and a comfortable abiding. Come monks, abstain from eating at night. By so doing you too will be free from illness and affliction, and you will enjoy health, strength, and a comfortable abiding. Yes, Venerable Sir, they replied. You see, most of the Buddha's disciples are very obedient. Whenever the Buddha instructs them whatever, they will comply. Then as the Blessed One was wandering by stages in the Kasi country, he eventually arrived at a Kasi town called Kitagiri. There he stayed. There he lived in this Kasi town, Kitagiri. Now on that occasion, the monks named Asaji and Punabasuka were residing at Kitagiri. Then a number of monks went and told them, Friends, the Blessed One and the Sangha of monks now abstain from eating at night. By so doing, they are free from illness and affliction, and they enjoy health, strength, and a comfortable abiding. Come, friends, abstain from eating at night. By so doing, you too will be free from illness and affliction, and you will enjoy health, strength, and a comfortable abiding. When this was said, the monks Asaji and Punabasuka told those monks, Friends, we eat in the evening, in the morning, and in the day outside the proper time. By so doing, we are free from illness and affliction, and we enjoy health, strength, and a comfortable abiding. Why should we abandon a benefit visible here and now to pursue a benefit to be achieved at a future time? We shall eat in the evening, in the morning, and in the day outside the proper time. Sorry for a moment. These two monks, Asaji and Punabasuka, what can be considered as rotten monks. In the Vinaya books, they are found to very often breaking the rules. So here, when they were told to stop eating at night, they refused to do so. They said, we are eating in the morning, in the afternoon, and at night, and we are finding it very good. So there's a problem when sometimes a person follows a teacher. If he has respect and trust in the teacher, faith in the teacher, then he doesn't listen to his own mind. A lot of us, we have a lawyer bureau up here in our mind, always thinking up some excuses not to follow the rules, and trying to what do you call it? Devil's advocate, is it? Or trying to make a case, trying to find some excuse, So if a person has a good teacher, he should just follow whatever the teacher says, So you find even the Buddha, the most perfect teacher in the world, he still has disciples who won't listen to him, like here. Since the monks were unable to convince the monks Asaji and Punabasuka, they went to the Blessed One. After paying homage to him, they sat down at one side and told him all that had occurred, adding, Venerable Sir, we were unable to convince the monks Asaji and Punabasuka. We have reported this matter to the Blessed One. Then the Blessed One addressed a certain monk thus, Come, monk, tell the monks Asaji and Punabasuka in my name that the teacher calls them. Yes, Venerable Sir, he replied. And he went to the monks Asaji and Punabasuka and told them, The teacher calls you, friends. Yes, friend, they replied. And they went to the Blessed One, and after paying homage to him, sat down at one side. The Blessed One then said, Monks, is it true that when a number of monks went and told you, Friends, the Blessed One and the Sangha now abstain from eating at night, etc. Come, friends, abstain from eating at night. You told those monks, Friends, we eat in the evening, we eat in the morning and in the afternoon. Why should we abandon a benefit visible here and now to pursue a benefit to be achieved at a future time? We shall eat in the evening, in the morning, and in the day outside the proper time. Yes, Venerable Sir, they replied. Monks, have you known me to teach the Dhamma in such a way as this? Whatever this person experiences, whether pleasant or painful, or neither painful nor pleasant, unwholesome states diminish in him. and wholesome states increase. No, Venerable Sir. Monks, have you not known me to teach the Dhamma in such a way as this? Here, when someone feels a certain kind of pleasant feeling, unwholesome states increase in him and wholesome states diminish. But when someone feels another kind of pleasant feeling, unwholesome states diminish in him and wholesome states increase. Here, when someone feels a certain kind of painful feeling, unwholesome states increase in him and wholesome states diminish. But when someone feels another kind of painful feeling, unwholesome states diminish in him and wholesome states increase. Here, someone feels a certain kind of neither painful nor pleasant feeling. Unwholesome states increase in him and wholesome states diminish. But when someone feels another kind of neither painful nor pleasant feeling, unwholesome states diminish in him and wholesome states increase. Yes, Venerable Sir. So here the Buddha is saying there are certain types of pleasant feeling which makes unwholesome states increase. On the other hand, there are certain types of pleasant feeling that makes wholesome states increase. And similarly for painful and neither painful nor pleasant feeling. After this, the Buddha will explain. Good monks, and if it were unknown by me, unseen, unfound, unrealized, uncontacted by wisdom thus, here when someone feels a certain kind of pleasant feeling, unwholesome states increase in him and wholesome states diminish. Would it be fitting for me, not knowing that, to say, abandon such a kind of pleasant feeling? No, Venerable Sir. But because it is known by me, seen, found, realized, contacted by wisdom thus, here when someone feels a certain kind of pleasant feeling, unwholesome states increase in him and wholesome states diminish, that I therefore say, abandon such a kind of pleasant feeling. If it were not unknown by me, unseen, unfound, unrealized, if it were unknown by me, unseen, unfound, unrealized, uncontacted by wisdom thus, here when someone feels another kind of pleasant feeling, unwholesome states diminish in him and wholesome states increase. Would it be fitting for me, not knowing that, to say, enter upon and abide in such a kind of pleasant feeling? No, Venerable Sir. But because it is known by me, seen, found, realized, contacted by wisdom thus, here when someone feels another kind of pleasant feeling, unwholesome states diminish in him and wholesome states increase, that I therefore say, enter upon and abide in such a kind of pleasant feeling. I'll stop here for a moment. Here the Buddha is talking about two types of pleasant feelings. One type, if we indulge in this pleasant feeling, unwholesome states increase and wholesome states diminish. This refers to worldly pleasure, sensual pleasures through the five senses, the sight, sound, smell, taste and touch. And because this one, when you enjoy this type of sensual pleasures, unwholesome states increase, therefore the Buddha says abandon this pleasant feeling. But there's another type of pleasant feeling, if you indulge in it, unwholesome states diminish and wholesome states increase. This refers to the jhanic bliss, when a person attains unification of mind, one-pointedness of mind. It is very blissful. This is a different type of pleasant feeling. This one, the Buddha says, enter upon and abide in such a type of pleasant feeling because it is beneficial. Similarly, if you are unknown by me, unseen, unfound, etc., here someone feels a certain kind of painful feeling, unwholesome states increase in him and wholesome states diminish, that I therefore say, abandon such a kind of feeling. And if it were unknown by me, unseen, etc., but because it is known by me, contacted by wisdom thus, here when someone feels another kind of painful feeling, unwholesome states diminish in him and wholesome states increase, that I therefore say, enter upon and abide in such a kind of painful feeling. I'll stop here for a moment. So here there are two types of painful feeling. The first type is refers to the unbeneficial ascetic practices practiced by some of the ascetics in India, where they torture themselves, their body, through all kinds of ascetic practices like starving themselves, eating only a particular type of food, standing without ever sitting down, or raising the hands without ever putting it down, etc. This type of unbeneficial practices, unwholesome states increase and wholesome states diminish. So the Buddha says, abandon such a kind of painful feeling. But there is another type of painful feeling where wholesome states increase and unwholesome states diminish. This refers to, for example, striving in the holy path, a longing for liberation. If a person longs for liberation, that is a type of painful feeling. Or if he's striving very hard in the holy life, and also he experiences painful feelings, but in the process, unwholesome states diminish and wholesome states increase. So the Buddha says to continue and abide in that type of painful feeling. And then after that, if you are unknown by me, unseen, etc., someone feels a certain kind of neither painful nor pleasant feeling. Unwholesome states increase in him and wholesome states diminish. That I therefore say, abandon such a kind of neither painful nor pleasant feeling. Then if you are unknown by me, because it is known by me, contacted by wisdom thus, here someone feels another kind of neither painful nor pleasant feeling. Unwholesome states diminish in him, and wholesome states increase. That I therefore say, enter upon and abide in such a kind of neither painful nor pleasant feeling. I'll stop here for a moment. So here the Buddha is talking about two types of this neither painful nor pleasant feeling. This neither painful nor pleasant feeling is also called equanimity. So there's one type where if you experience it, unwholesome states increase and wholesome states diminish. This refers to the equanimity, worldly equanimity, equanimity in the worldly sense. For example, when you indulge in the sensual objects, sense objects, and you have a equanimous feeling, and then Buddha says abandon such a equanimous feeling. On the other hand, there's another type where when you experience that type of equanimous feeling, wholesome states increase. This refers to the fourth jhana. When a person enters the fourth jhana, there is complete purity of equanimity and mindfulness. So the Buddha says, enter upon and abide in such a type of neither painful nor pleasant feelings. Monks, I do not say of all monks that they still have work to do with diligence, nor do I say of all monks that they have no more work to do with diligence. I do not say of all monks who are arahants, with taints destroyed, who have lived the holy life, done what had to be done, laid down the burden, reached the true goal, destroyed the fetters of being, and are completely liberated through final knowledge, that they still have work to do with diligence. Why is that? They have done their work with diligence. They are no more capable of being negligent. I say of such monks who are in higher training, whose minds have not yet reached the goal, and who are still aspiring to the supreme security from bondage, that they still have work to do with diligence. Why is that? Because when those venerable ones make use of suitable resting places and associate with good friends and balance their spiritual faculties, they may, by realizing for themselves with direct knowledge, here and now enter upon and abide in the supreme goal of the holy life, for the sake of which clansmen rightly go forth from the home life into homelessness. Seeing this fruit of diligence for these monks, I say that they still have work to do with diligence. I'll stop here for a moment. So here the Buddha says, the Arahant has finished his work and he has no more work to do, and he's also not able to be negligent anymore. He's no more negligent. But those in higher training, the other types of Arya, the Buddha encourages them to put forth effort, and they may attain the goal of the holy life, Nibbana, here and now. Monks, there are 7 kinds of persons to be found existing in the world. What 7? They are: 1 liberated both ways, 1 liberated by wisdom, a body witness, 1 attained to view, 1 liberated by faith, a Dhamma follower and a faith follower. Stop here for a moment. This here is talking about 7 types of Aryans. The Aryans can be classified as 7 types as here. The first 2 refers to the Arahants. 1 liberated both ways, 1 liberated by wisdom. Here you can see these 2 types of Arahants, liberated both ways and liberated by wisdom. But earlier we saw in Majjhima Nikaya, Sutta 64, section 16, the Buddha, it stated there are 2 types of Arahants, liberated by mind and liberated by wisdom. So here, when you say liberated both ways, that refers to the Arahant who is liberated by mind. Because as I mentioned before, liberated by mind means he's liberated by mind as well as by wisdom. That's why he's liberated both ways. And that liberation by mind occurs when Arahant attains liberation during meditation. He's using the strength of his mind and becomes liberated. Whereas liberated by wisdom, he's not meditating at that time. I remember Sariputta just listening to the Buddha give a discourse and he understood and he became liberated. His liberation by wisdom. Then body witness attained to view and liberated by faith. The last 2, Dhamma follower and faith follower, refers to the first path attainers. What kind of person is 1 liberated both ways? Ubhato bhaga vimutta. Here some person contacts with the body and abides in those liberations that are peaceful and immaterial, transcending forms, and his stains are destroyed by his seeing with wisdom. This kind of person is called 1 liberated both ways. I do not say of such a monk that he still has work to do with diligence. Why is that? He has done his work with diligence. He is no more capable of being negligent. What kind of person is 1 liberated by wisdom? Panya vimutta. Here some person does not contact with the body and abide in those liberations that are peaceful and immaterial, transcending forms, but his stains are destroyed by seeing with wisdom. This kind of person is called 1 liberated by wisdom. I do not say of such a monk that he still has work to do with diligence. Why is that? He has done his work with diligence. He is no more capable of being negligent. Stop here for a moment. This here, liberated by wisdom, it says, he does not contact with the body. Those liberations that are peaceful and immaterial means he does not attain the arupas. But it does not mean he does not have the rupa jhanas. Because all arahants have perfect samadhi, and the perfect samadhi is defined as the 4 jhanas. But there are some arahants, after they attain 4 jhanas, they become liberated. Some after they attain 8 jhanas. That means including the arupas. What kind of person is a body witness? Kaya sakhin. Here some person contacts with the body and abides in those liberations that are peaceful and immaterial, transcending forms, and some of his stains are destroyed by seeing with wisdom. This kind of person is called a body witness. I say of such a monk that he still has work to do with diligence. Why is that? Because when that venerable one makes use of suitable resting places and associates with good friends and balances his spiritual faculties, he may, by realizing for himself with direct knowledge, here and now enter upon and abide in that supreme goal of the holy life, for the sake of which clansmen rightly go forth, from the home life into homelessness. Seeing this fruit of diligence for such a monk, I say that he still has work to do with diligence. What kind of person is 1 attained to view? Ditthipata. Here some person does not contact with the body and abide in those liberations that are peaceful and immaterial, transcending forms, but some of his stains are destroyed by his seeing with wisdom, and he has reviewed and examined with wisdom the teachings proclaimed by the Tathagata. This kind of person is called 1 attained to view. I say of such a person, I say of such a monk that he still has work to do with diligence. Why is that? And then what kind of person is one liberated by faith? Here, this is Sada Vimutta. Here, some person does not contact with the body and abide in those liberations that are peaceful and immaterial, transcending forms. But some of his stains are destroyed by his seeing with wisdom, and his faith is planted, rooted, and established in the Tathagata. This kind of person is called one liberated by faith. I say of such a monk that he still has work to do with diligence, etc. Stop here for a moment. Here now we come to these three types of Arya. The body witness, Kaya Sabkin. And then the second one is one attained to view, Ditthipata. The third one is one liberated by faith, Sada Vimutta. Now according to the Majjhima Nikaya, Atakata commentary, they say that the first two, the liberated both ways and liberated by wisdom, that refers to the Arahants. And the last two refers to the first path attainer, the Dhamma follower and faith follower. So they say that these three refers to the six Aryans in between. That means first fruit, Arya, second path, second fruit, third path, third fruit, and fourth path. Six types of Aryans. That's what they say. But this Anguttara Nikaya, Sutta 3.21, also there's some discussion about these three types of Aryans. And there the Buddha says that these three types of Aryans, they can either be a second fruition Arya, that means Sakadagamin, or third fruition Anagamin, or fourth path attainer. So there the sutta is a bit different from what the commentary here says. What kind of person is a Dhamma follower? Dhammanusarin. Here some person does not contact with the body and abide in those liberations that are peaceful and immaterial, transcending forms. And his stains are not yet destroyed by seeing with wisdom. But with wisdom he has sufficiently gained a reflective acceptance of those teachings proclaimed by the Tathagata. Furthermore, he has these qualities: the faith faculty, energy faculty, mindfulness faculty, concentration faculty, and wisdom faculty. This kind of person is called a Dhamma follower. I say of such a monk that he still has work to do with diligence, etc. What kind of person is a faith follower? Sada Nusarin. Here some person does not contact with the body and abide in those liberations that are peaceful and immaterial, transcending forms, and his stains are not yet destroyed by his seeing with wisdom. Yet he has sufficient faith in and love for the Tathagata. Furthermore, he has these qualities: the faith faculty, energy faculty, mindfulness faculty, concentration faculty, and wisdom faculty. This kind of person is called a faith follower. I say of such a monk that he still has work to do with diligence, etc. So stop here for a moment. Here, the Dhamma follower and the faith follower refers to the first path attainer. You see, in this, these two, they have in common the five faculties: faith, energy, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. But I think that these five faculties are not fully developed, because in the Samyutta Nikaya, the Buddha says, if a person has these five faculties fully developed, he can become an Arahant. But if it is only developed at a low level, he can become first path or first fruit attainer. So here we assume must be the five faculties are only partially developed. This Dhamma follower, you see, he has gained a reflective acceptance of those teachings proclaimed by the Tathagata. That means he listens to the Dhamma, and then he reflects on what he has heard, and he accepts the Dhamma taught by the Buddha. He understands. So just by understanding the Dhamma, he has entered the stream, become the first path attainer. And then also is partially because he has partial development of these five faculties. Then the second one, the faith follower, he he becomes the first path attainer because he has sufficient faith and love for the Tathagata. That is only possible also if he understands some Dhamma. If he doesn't understand the Dhamma, how can he have faith and love for the Tathagata? So these are the two first path attainers. Monks, I do not say that final knowledge is achieved all at once. On the contrary, final knowledge is achieved by a gradual training, by gradual practice, by gradual progress. I stop here for a moment. There's some other sutta where the Buddha says, just like the ocean, if you walk towards the ocean, it does not suddenly become deep. It gradually becomes deeper and deeper and deeper, very gradual. So in the same way, the Buddha says, the spiritual path, the holy path, is a gradual training, gradual progress, just like here. And how does there come to be gradual training, gradual practice, gradual progress? Here one who has faith in the teacher visits him. When he visits him, he pays respect to him. When he pays respect to him, he gives ear. One who gives ear hears the Dhamma. Having heard the Dhamma, he memorizes it. He examines the meaning of the teachings he has memorized. When he examines their meaning, he gains a reflective acceptance of those teachings. When he has gained a reflective acceptance of those teachings, zeal springs up in him. When zeal has sprung up, he applies his will. Having applied his will, he scrutinizes. Having scrutinized, he strives, resolutely striving. He realizes with the body the ultimate truth and sees it by penetrating it with wisdom. There has not been that faith, monks, and there has not been that visiting, and there has not been that paying of respect, and there has not been that giving ear, and there has not been that hearing of the Dhamma, and there has not been that memorizing of the Dhamma, and there has not been that examination of the meaning, and there has not been that reflective acceptance of the teachings, and there has not been that zeal, and there has not been that application of will, and there has not been that scrutiny, and there has not been that striving. Monks, you have lost your way, monks. You have been practicing the wrong way. How far you have strayed, misguided men, from this Dhamma Vinaya. Stop here for a moment. This last part, the Buddha is giving a telling off to these two monks, Puna Basuka and the other one Asaji. So the Buddha says, how does one progress in the spiritual path? First, this disciple has faith in the teacher. So when he has faith in the teacher, he comes to associate with the teacher, and he pays respect to the teacher. And because he pays respect to the teacher, then only the teacher teaches him the Dhamma. When he is taught the Dhamma, he listens to the Dhamma with all attention. And then having heard the Dhamma, he memorizes it. In the Buddha's days, there was no books. So they had to memorize. So after memorizing, he examines the meaning of the teachings he has memorized. Then as he repeats the what he has memorized, then he reflects on it. There's the examining the meaning. And then when he understands, he gains a reflective acceptance of those teachings. So if he gains a reflective acceptance of the Buddha's teachings, primarily the Four Noble Truths, then he has entered the stream, become a first path attainer. And then zeal springs up in him, and then he applies his will. Applies his will means he starts to meditate, tries to practice what he has learned in the Dhamma, and then he scrutinizes, examines, and then he strives again, resolutely striving. Then with the body, he attains the various states of concentration and sees by penetrating with wisdom. Because when he attains one-pointedness of mind, then he can see things as they really are. And when he sees things as they really are, then he penetrates the Dhamma and attains wisdom. So he's telling these two monks, they have not had that faith, that's why they have not been visiting the teacher or senior monks, and have not been paying respect, have not been listening to the Dhamma, memorizing, examining, etc. Monks, there is a four-phrase statement, and when it is recited, a wise man would quickly understand. I shall recite it to you, monks. Try to understand it. And these two monks said, Remember, sir, who are we that we should understand the Dhamma? And then the Buddha said, Monks, even with a teacher who is concerned with material things, an heir to material things, attached to material things, such haggling by his disciples would not be proper. If we get this, we will do this. We will do it. If we don't get this, we won't do it. So what should be said when the teacher is the Tathagata, who is utterly detached from material things? Monks, for a faithful disciple who is intent on fathoming the teacher's dispensation, it is proper that he conducts himself thus. The Blessed One is the teacher. I am a disciple. The Blessed One knows. I do not know. For a faithful disciple who is intent on fathoming the teacher's dispensation, the teacher's dispensation is nourishing and refreshing. For a faithful disciple who is intent on fathoming the teacher's dispensation, it is proper that he conducts himself thus. Willingly, let only my skin, sinews and bones remain, and let the flesh and blood dry up on my body. But my energy shall not be relaxed so long as I have not attained what can be attained by manly strength, manly energy, and manly persistence. For a faithful disciple who is intent on fathoming the teacher's dispensation, one of two fruits may be expected, either final knowledge here and now, or if there is a trace of clinging left, non-return. That is what the Blessed One said. The monks were satisfied and delighted in the Blessed One's words. So here this last part, the Buddha says, even with some teachers who are very attached to material things, it is not proper for the disciples to bargain with the teacher. If we get this only, we will follow your instructions and do this. If we don't get this, we won't follow your instruction. In other words, there are some monks, they for example, they come to practice in a monastery on certain conditions only. If they have a good, a very comfortable kuti to stay with aircon, then only they come. Or some, they think if the food is very good, then only I come and stay in the monastery. If the food is no good, I won't come. So this is haggling. But the Buddha says, one who has come to a good teacher, he should acknowledge that the teacher knows. I do not know. So if a disciple follows a teacher, he should listen to the teacher, not have his way. And if he practices well, he should have this kind of determination, a very strong determination. He's willing to let the whole body waste away, but he will not relax his energy so long as he has not attained what can be attained by manly strength, manly energy, manly persistence. And then if he has that kind of determination, the Buddha says, in this very lifetime, he can expect to be an arahant or an anagamin. So this spiritual path is not an easy path. It's a very difficult path. Without persistence, without faith and persistence, determination, you cannot progress. And if you don't progress, the Buddha says you have wasted your life as a human being. As I say in Hokkien, kisi ka ho, in English, go and die. Because the Buddha says, if we waste our life, then we don't strive. We might as well die. If we live another 80 years or 100 years, it's a liability to us, because as a human being, we use up our merit. Every day we use our merit. And at the end of life, your blessings is in the red already, and you go to a woeful plane of rebirth. So unless you strive on the spiritual path and attain more blessings, you'll be wasting your life. Look at the Buddha when he struggled for enlightenment, how much effort he put in. So some people, they come to the spiritual path, and then when it gets a bit difficult, or they want to give up already. this is not manly, this effeminate. The Buddha says, when the going is tough, you just grit your teeth and bear it. Just grit your teeth and bear it. You don't have that kind of determination. Don't practice the spiritual path. When I first renounced, the first year was a lot of suffering for me. Thoughts kept going back to the home. That's natural for everybody. Thoughts kept going back to the home. The first year, was a time when I broke down and cried very loud also. I let myself cry, and then all the tears come down. Have a good cry after that. Okay, and you carry on.